here, Rebecca. Just not Becky.
Just not Becky.
And, oh my goodness, Albert. Hello. And Papi. And we hope you are doing well. If you're one of those 8 people who have seen our videos, welcome back. Otherwise, hey, you came. Crazy. Thanks. So today we were thinking maybe you'd like to see our terrarium collection. We have a bunch of them. We like to make them. I do. They don't. And they're fun to give as gifts. They're fun to make. They're easy to take care of because you don't do anything. And yeah, so I thought maybe you'd like to see them. We've been making them for a long time. Well, I have. They don't really make anything except for presents in the yard. Poop, if you didn't catch my drift. Sometimes it's not in the yard. Like yesterday, in the kennel. Okay, so let's start with smallest and go to biggest. They're not really easy to show on camera, so I'll show some of them up close too. But let's go smallest to biggest. I made a little kitchen collection, and I tend to thrift most of the containers. So this is one of them. It is in a little syrup container. Maple, boysenberry, I don't know. So this is what it looks like. For all of my terrariums, I start with a stone, rock, whatever. Then I put a screen, sometimes some charcoal, if there's room, and then soil, and then I go for it. So this one has mostly moss and I think a couple little sticks. So I've had this one for quite some time now, so it's pretty overgrown. Next in the kitchen terrarium section, vanilla. Again, overgrown, but I like it. There was some sticks, not there anymore. Oh, for God's sake, I'm getting email after oh, I got an email and it closed my damn camera. I think you got to see my vanilla terrarium. All right, salt and pepper. So this is salt and pepper. Same thing, little bit of rock, little bit of screen, soil, and these moss, because I can't fit a big plant in here. But the moss does awesome. Because of the holes, I had to seal them off so that it didn't dry up. So I just put some tape on the inside, like some packing tape. Sealed the holes. And got them a little wet, and they've done fantastic. All right. Next smallest would be this one. And it's doing very well. It's the same setup. Actually, no. I think this might have been the first one I did, and it doesn't have rocks or a screen. It just went straight to soil, and it's still doing really well. So in it, just soil, some moss, and some sticks, different kind of moss, and then a cutting from one of my ivy. And as you can see, the ivy is threatening to grow out the top. It's doing fantastic. All right. Next one, not so pretty. This one has been in a spot it didn't like, and it is not doing well at all. It has my little gnome friend in it. He's growing things on him too. He's not looking good. All right, so this one is a little bigger, and he has some drying moss. Again, this was one of the first one and it didn't have anything down here. A very slimy gnome. A peperomia that is very leggy because there was no light getting to this guy at all. No light. And some very dead moss. And one tiny stem of fern. The rest died. This one's not pretty. All of them except for that one have been very successful. Alright, this one doesn't have much in it, but it's doing well. Next size. This one just has some cool wood that I found, and a bunch of moss, some ivy cuttings. For all my terrariums, I just use cuttings of plants that I have, and I just snip them and stick them. I don't water root them, I don't do anything like that. Most of the moss that I have in these is moss that I collect from outside, in public areas, not protected areas, some of them in my yard. So, and I usually take them in the center of a section of moss, and then I push the moss together so it doesn't look disturbed or anything. So if you're going to take moss from outside, be responsible about it. Don't want to disturb it. Tiny little areas from different areas. Don't take a big chunk out in one area. It doesn't take much. So, not a lot in here, but it's kind of pretty. Sometimes it doesn't take much. Okay. Then I have my second biggest one in my house. Oh, my back, my neck, my back, my and my crack. Okay. Oh my gosh. I got veins popping out of my forehead. All right, this guy is one of my newer ones. It's only probably 3 or 4 months old, and everything in it started out really tiny. Again, just a cutting off of a plant that I stuck in the soil, and things take very quickly because of the humidity and the perfect conditions in a terrarium. It's just like a big greenhouse. So, let's see. Some peperomia that went crazy immediately. It started out about that big. Some pretty rocks and pretty sticks. The only piece of my curly spider plant that's actually doing well. Cutting off of my ivy that started out like that. Oh my god. I'll show you a better image of it close up, and I'll open it up and show you inside. But again, rocks, screen, some charcoal, and soil. Oh. When I make my terrariums, I put everything in, and then I just use a spray bottle and I spray it down until it's nice and moist in there. Moist, for those who don't like the word. And I spray down the glass and let it seep in there, and then I just lightly spray down the plants and soil. And I get it so that it's nice and moist but not saturated. Some people water it before they plant it. I just don't find that it works as well for me that way. So I do it that way. And you want there to be some condensation on the glass, mainly in the morning and the evening, and let it clear up during the day. If you find that it's always condensated, no, that didn't work. If you find that there's always condensation, then you should probably let it dry out a little bit. Sometimes if I just open it for a little while during the day, it can dry out enough. Most of the time, what I do is actually just open it up and take a paper towel and clean off the sides, like that, to take some of the moisture out. And I'll do that if I find that it wasn't enough. The next day I'll open it up and do the same thing until that it starts being about the right amount of condensation. And if there's no condensation, I'll give it a little bit more spray. Okay, I have one more huge terrarium that I'll show you in a second, closed terrarium. Then I have 2 open terrariums, and these are super new. They're my first foray into open terrariums, so I don't know how they're gonna go. But I found these 2 containers at Target on clearance after the summer season, and they were extraordinarily cheap, so I thought I would try them out. And one is actually a cactus one, and I really don't know how it's gonna go because I haven't done it before. But it's this one, and I've got a teeny tiny little fairy tale cactus in there, and that Haworthia, and that little guy, and just some rocks, and a donkey. He's not real, don't worry. I would never put a real donkey in a glass container. It wouldn't be humane. And I worked in animal welfare for a number of years. It's important to me. Don't worry, donkey. Eehaw, eehaw. He said it's okay. So I'll give you a better look of that close up. I don't know how it's gonna do. And then the other one, same container. But this one, there's 2 elephants in it. They've fallen over. Here, see? Not real. Again, I wouldn't do that to an elephant. But the reason there's elephants, elephant ears, confetti. See? Syngonium confetti babies. And then a couple other versions, and then just some little tiny, I think they're a pilea, crawlers kind of. So anyway, my first foray into open. We'll see how it goes. I've been just kind of misting them. But I did the same thing. Some pebbles, screen, soil, plants. And I know that those Syngonium are going to grow out of there super fast, but then I'll just change it up. Okay, I am going to have to cut and move to show you the big terrarium. It's a special one. I'll be right back. Oh, and I do have a live animal in this one, and I'm not going to apologize for it. Okay, so this is the largest terrarium and the biggest deal. So this one I do have something living in, and I'm not apologizing for it. Her name is Kevin, and she's a crested gecko. So she's sleeping right now because she's nocturnal, but I'll try to find her and show her to you. Okay, so it's going to be hard to really get a good look of it because the big window's right behind it, but I'm going to do my best. So it's a 29 long gallon aquarium up on its end, and then there is a glass door, but I have it off right now so you can see. So just like the others, it has a drainage layer, some screen, some soil, and then I have good soil, some leaf litter, things like that. It is bioactive, meaning there are isopods and springtails in there to help clean the soil, get rid of any mold and debris, poop, and anything, so there's no molding. I've got some Schefflera in there, I've got Sansevieria in there, I've got a few other things. There's a big spider plant in there in the back that is now shooting off some babies. I've got some Swedish ivy in there for her to climb on. And yeah, I forget what else. Oh, some pothos in there too. And she loves it. I spray it down with reverse osmosis water and keep the humidity up. And she's doing fantastic. Let's see if I can get a good look at her for you. Way back there. I don't think I'm gonna... Well, there she is, but she's hiding her head because she wants to be in the dark. So there she is. But so this is my largest terrarium, technically vivarium. And there you have it. All right, I'll get some good shots close up of the collection so you can see them. All right, I hope you enjoyed our terrarium tour. I think it has worn out my little friend, so we need to go take a break and rest up. But I hope that you guys all have a plantastic day.